What's happening?
What's happening? It's another date night.
I have so much stuff and I don't think we're going to be able to cover it all. So,
Okay.
before I get into the funny videos, we're going to be talking tonight about this really interesting story that I did a lot of research into and some research I haven't done, and we're going to do it together.
Okay.
It is about the Native American rehab scandal. This has really piqued my interest. I have updates on Lindsay Clancy, Reckless Ben published on Patreon, the original video that he got from Brian, whose dad is the one who owned the Lego before he got involved. So that's pretty
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, and and a couple of things are going on in the Turtleverse. So we have some Turtleboy stuff we may or may not get to. We'll see.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I don't have anything to talk about this Sunday.
Okay, since I have so much stuff, I'm a little bit light on the funnies.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So I'm going to get started.
Let's do it. Let's do some funnies.
All right, hold on, this one I can't have sound. I wrote myself a little note. Okay. Let me bring it up.
Oh, there it is. Oh no.
You're not ready for this.
I don't think I am. It's a nice boat.
It's even better with the music.
Whoa! I wish I could do that. That looks like so much fun. That's like some Delta stuff.
It looks pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
It does look like something I said. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah. Reminds me of the last Zelda when you have to jump on the dragon. Nice. Look at it. That looks like so much fun. Yeah. Where was that? Do you know?
No idea.
No idea. Yeah, fair.
Okay, this one is called Killer Animals.
Ooh. Like a killer animal.
Yeah, but you know me, it's not what you think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a predator. Or maybe it's a baby kitty.
As soon as you said baby kitty, this cat went meow.
I heard that. Sarah. She's mad because she can't get in here.
Well, open the door for her.
No, I don't want her crawling on the air mattress. Oh, look. Whoa. Oh, my goodness.
I shut the sound off. Don't worry.
Yeah, you should. Oh, that thing's not giving up. Get him. Oh, man. No.
I love the sounds you do. That sounds so funny.
Oh, my goodness. Getting chased by the geese. Oh, that lamb is going to bite him. No. Don't be taunting the ghosts. So, yep. Boom. Alpaca. Oh, spit all over him. Oh.
Wait, this is so good.
Yup, chicken, don't run from them. Don't turn your back on a chicken. Boom. Oh, no. Nope. Don't let that stingray near that kid.
Yeah. Or do it. Okay.
Do it.
This one I have to set up a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So the lady that I'm going to show you sells wigs.
Okay.
She's like, that's her thing, and she has a show on QVC.
Okay.
Okay. And I call this a wig job is still a job.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like it.
How does it sound like it?
You said so.
Okay.
It's a job. It must be a job.
You'll get it in a minute. Let me make sure the sound is on.
And this wave pattern, again, it looks like you went and got a blow job
Whoa.
at your salon, and it looks beautiful.
All right, so here's what's happening today. We're having a huge beauty sale. Everything ships to you for free, but that goes away at the end of the day. I will remind you that this is a one-time only price where the price goes up at the end of the show, not the end of the day. So we're going to save you $10 plus the free shipping and handling saves you another $5.50.
Oh my
She was so embarrassed.
It's still a job.
Let me see if there's sound on.
Wig jobs are still a job.
Oh, there's sound. Okay. Okay. All right. Here's the next one. It's called Barely Any Ice.
Ooh. Is this a polar bear? What is this?
Do you see it?
Yeah. What's up? Oh no. It's a real problem for polar bears because they hunt seals and there's not enough ice for them to capture seals. It's a real problem.
That sounds very scientific. Okay. This one is called the dog upgrade chip.
Oh, I like this.
Do you?
I like the way it sounds. Yes.
Wait till you see this dog. Oh my gosh. I don't, maybe this is an AI dog.
Maybe this is AI.
I gotta get earbuds, man. The headphones pushed on my glasses makes my nose itchy. And so when we're streaming, I'm always like, ugh.
Yeah, that sucks.
I know.
Oh, look at that pup. Oh, it's biting.
Bite me. Release. Bite me to death. Step back a little. Lighter. Scissors. Spanner. Tape measure. Screwdriver.
Oh.
Basketball. That's wrong. Get the football on the table. Okay, come here. Down. Crash. Cover your mouth. Roll over.
Aww.
Attention. At ease. Crawl backward.
Whoa.
Sit. Shy. Put out your weapon. Turn around. Down. Into the cage.
Get in there.
Sit. Down. On the cage.
Whoa.
Sit. Put out your gun. Get down. Diving. Get under the table. On the table. Sit. Time out. Get down. Sleep. Stand. Bark. Ball from the drawer.
Oh, wow.
Put the bottle in the bucket. Bring the football on the table.
Get it.
Okay, step back. Catch it.
What?
Put it in the drawer. Close it. Step back. Catch the ball.
I don't know about that one.
What, you don't know if it's real?
Yeah, I mean, those are all things a dog could do, but it looked very AI-ish to me.
Something about it looked weird to me too, but I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's weird. So I got this from a site called Gaze Against Groomers. What?
Okay.
Do you see it?
No, I do.
All right. So to set this up, that's Chris Hansen on the left. And they're talking about, Roblox exploiting kids.
What? Oh, groomers. Okay.
Well, I think it's one thing for all of us to just talk about Roblox.
Right.
I think people need to see it.
I couldn't agree more.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to show everybody here Roblox. So what you're going to do. So I legally can't play Roblox. So Chris
Right.
has to. Yeah.
We're going to see how this goes here.
So you're going to click that button right there, the join.
Now, don't be shy about telling me what to do here.
Yeah.
Okay, which one?
The join right there.
Join right here? This one?
That one.
Okay, so explain what I'm doing by hitting this button.
So you are entering a game right now that is literally based off of a platform that was sued out of existence for child exploitation. That platform is Omegle. This is a game called Romeet, and you'll see very quickly. So just hit start match.
Start match.
Yes.
This is Romeet, which is available on Roblox.
Yes.
And is there any age verification or facial recognition for anybody to get on this?
I think this game is 13 plus, but
Well, 13 is the exact target,
yeah.
prime target for predators.
Some of these people will straight up ask you,
Right.
okay, this guy's name's Freak for real, for real. That's his name.
I think we may be onto something.
Yeah. Say hi. Let's see what Freak for real 7 has to say. What you doing? I think that's what he says.
What's up?
Oh, is that what he said? Oh, you've been
Disconnected.
kicked by moderators. Wow, what just happened here?
They're watching
Wait,
you.
go. Are they watching? Here, wait. Hit exit. Exit on that,
Got it.
and then just refresh the page. And I just want to know, Chris
Just
is controlling
refresh.
this, not me.
Right.
Yeah, just refresh that page.
Who am I logged in as here?
Roblox just banned the account. Oh my God. Wow. So Roblox employee is watching this right now, live on stage. Rather than banning that game, is going to do that.
What do you think?
I don't know. Whose account did they ban? Did they ban?
Chris Hansen's apparently.
Oh, well,
Whatever account he was logged in as.
maybe he
All right.
said something inappropriate.
This one is called Rave Mouth.
Ooh, I like a good rave.
This I thought was AI, and then I watched it again, and I was like, I don't think this is AI.
Okay.
I think it's legit. So let me bring it up. Are you ready?
Yes.
The brain's motivation neurotransmitter, dopamine. 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 Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it.
I could have watched that for a lot longer.
I think that's real.
Yeah, I think it's real too. And it's really good.
Yeah, I've seen some people beatbox like that in person. So, like, yeah, I think that's definitely.
I don't know
That
if
was
I've
really,
ever-
really, really good. Don't get me wrong. That was like
Yeah,
exceptional.
I was gonna say I don't think I've seen anybody beatbox like that.
I saw one person one time when I was living in New York that opened for a band and they did something similar. But that was really, really, really good.
Yeah, it was cool. All right. This is called A+ parenting.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I have a feeling it's not A+ parenting from the way you reacted.
Mm,
Let's find out. Oh, look at that baby.
yeah, look at the baby.
Oh, get that baby out of there. Oh my goodness. That's a real fail. They still can't get it out. It's like stuck in the well.
It's stuck in the well. Mm. All right, this is called catfishing.
Oh. I hope there's a cat involved.
There's no cat.
No, it's a lie. False advertising.
Is it?
That's what you said. No cats. Waiting for it.
Well, they really slowed this down.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. What's going on? It's a bird. What you got there, bird? Let's see it.
Oh, it's Mark Smith Photography.
He's doing a good job.
It's a catfish.
What? It's a big old fish.
He's struggling with that.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's moving a lot. He's gonna drop it.
He's not going to drop it. He's going to get it.
I think he's gonna drop it. It's moving so much. That's gotta be so hard to hold on to.
He's going to hold on to that thing for dear life.
He took care of it.
All right. This is the last one. I told you it was short today.
Yeah, short funnies.
Tell me if you think that this is real. Because I'm like, what?
Okay.
I call it Shade Shack.
Ooh. A little nod to Shake Shack.
If you don't tip at Shade Shack, they make it more expensive per item, so we're about to find out.
Oh no. Order 2 shakes, is that too full?
See, $5.99.
Okay.
We got strawberry. We got cookies and cream.
Okay, let's see.
And we got vanilla
This is what we
with
just ordered.
cards.
Okay, there it is.
See that? And we say, right here. No.
Uh-oh, there's been a pricing update on one of more of your card items. Please
Whoa.
Everything just went up 50 cents.
Whoa.
Every item went up by 50 cents. Making sure everybody knows, do not go there.
I'd like
Do
to
not-
point out
Wait, but why is he like, do not go there?
because they're forcing you to tip, and some
You know-
people don't think you should have to tip.
The people that are like that really irritate me
Yeah.
so much. I always tip.
Yeah.
Even if you do a bad job, I'm going to tip. people have like this sense of entitlement, like, if they don't bend over backwards for you, you're not giving them your hard-earned money.
It's not even that. People are just like, you don't have to tip.
No, you do.
That's how people feel. They're like, it's not obligated. What? Like, I hear people say it. They're like, why should I have to tip? The restaurant should pay you a living wage. That's not my problem.
But they don't. Right. They should, but that's not the laws. Those aren't the laws here.
Tipping has been built into the service industry in this country.
Yep.
You could say it's probably racist, but what are you gonna do?
Why would I don't understand the connection between that and racism.
You have to look into the history of tipping and who it was originally applied to. And
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll read up on it. But no, in Europe, like you don't tip.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't do it.
I mean, you can leave like a couple euros or whatever, but it's not.
They get paid a living wage. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And there's like people in America who are like, oh, it shouldn't work this way. And I don't know why I have to tip. It's not my problem. But like, because we created this culture and now you have to tip. And that's probably why those things cost 50 cents extra when you don't tip, because they want to pay their employees a living wage and they have to supplement it because you're not supplementing.
Yeah, if I might do the same kind of thing, you're like, you're not going to tip, all right, asshole.
Yeah.
I'll tip for you.
Yeah.
No problem. It's only 50 cents an item. Anyway,
that guy was wearing a Psycho Bunny t-shirt, by the way, and I've seen that store in the mall, and it's a terrible store. So that guy's opinion
what is it?
It's a clothing store. And one of our daughter's friends put it best when they said they make clothes that look like little kids' clothes for adults.
Little kids' clothes?
Yeah, like for men, they were calling out that men don't change the style of how they dress. A lot of like average men as they grow up, and that place sells clothes that look like what you would dress a little kid in, but for adults.
Okay, hold please.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like little sweaters and little polo shirts and stuff.
So it's like preppy-ish.
Yeah.
But they have a cool logo.
See what I mean? Rule the school. And that's like a bunch of like middle school kids. And then they create clothes for adults that look like those middle school kids.
Like Andy Roddick.
I don't know who that is.
He's a sporto. Join the club.
Yep.
I don't get it. Either I don't get it or it's stupid.
Both. I'm going to say both. I don't think you should get it either.
If it's yeah. Okay.
It's stupid, so you shouldn't get it. That's my take.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna do Lindsay Clancy first. Just because some of the other stuff you can pick and choose, but I want to go over a couple of these things.
Okay.
So this week we finally started getting to the mental health experts, and it's still the prosecution's case, and I don't want to go too deep into it, especially since I think we're talking about it tomorrow
I think so.
on someone's channel, and we can talk about that stuff then. But there were some interesting things that happened, and so we heard from the psychiatrist that was like in charge of Lindsay while she was in the state hospital.
Yeah, I overheard some of that. Yeah.
And then we heard from her regular psychiatrist, who is like getting sued in civil court. Well, many people believe is the cause of these issues.
Yeah.
Her care.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think
So
the psychiatric drugs had a lot to do with what happened to her.
There was also a motions hearing, and we don't have to play this, but that's actually really interesting. Do you want to do that first?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day on Thursday, there was a motions hearing, and there was already a motion for certain experts, and it was denied without prejudice. So it was brought up again. The defense wants certain experts. And Kevin Reddington, who is the defense attorney, he's arguing for this. You'll see when you watch this hearing, like the prosecution's argument's really bad.
Okay.
But I also, this is interesting. That very day, the judge had almost a mirror case. Lady killed her kids, postpartum psychosis, I think. I don't know what it was, but this judge would not allow mental health experts in the case, or left out some sort of mental health evidence, right? Excluded it. And the I think it's the Superior Court, not Supreme Court in Massachusetts. The Superior Court of Massachusetts overturned the conviction and really dragged the judge in their order.
Really?
Yes. So that happened earlier in the day from this motions hearing. So do you think he's not going to let some of these witnesses in?
I think he's going to be angry and vindictive.
No, I don't. Judges don't like getting overturned. And I think he'll be like, well, I don't want to make that mistake again. I don't, because nobody wants a verdict to get overturned.
Yeah. You want it to go its natural way.
Right. You want everybody to think you did all your judgments were technically correct and it was a good judgment. Okay. Yep. So we're going to watch that motions hearing first. Let me get it set up. Settings, playback speed. What do you want to do? 1.25. That sounds good, right?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. All right, let me share this. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes.
Great.
Here are the arguments in regards to the defendant's motion for permission to call witnesses. I know that this was filed this morning, but it's kind of hand in glove with issues that were raised a couple of weeks ago. At least mentioned the same witnesses. So I'm going to hear first from the defendant. They'll hear from the Commonwealth. I will probably take it under advisement and review some of the other documents, but I want to make this decision as soon as I can, so everybody kind of can plan on how they go based on the decision. So Mr. Reddington, let me hear you first on this.
Thank you. Your Honor, obviously, I don't have to belabor the obvious. This is a murder trial, very serious business. And we've all been working very hard on the discovery, which, as you can tell, is voluminous. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of state police interviews. And I mentioned, about with the government. They have cops. They have people going out and interviewing. They have videos. They have chemists. They have detectives. They have local cops. They want a cup of coffee. They can send 5 cops down the street to get one. I'm it, except for my son, Patrick, who helps me out getting coffee. All right. And the reason I sound frustrated is that they're objecting 2 weeks ago because they need time to review, to cross-examine doctors on very basic items of evidence that are their items of evidence. Not one of those witnesses is adding or bringing anything new to the discovery, if you will. And not by way of excuse, but, I am a sole practitioner. In the past, May, June, July, in the past 3 months, I've had a murder, a rape, and 2 back-to-back federal trials that ended 1 week before we impaneled on this case. I have worked really hard to pull this case together with expert witnesses, civilian witnesses, private investigators been investigating. I provide everything to them as soon as I get it. And they have been doing the same with me. I haven't objected to one thing that they have offered. They put an AutoCAD computer animated display disc on my desk last week. I didn't complain about it, run to you and try to exclude it. I said, fine, no problem, put it in my pile. And and move on. That's it. So to suggest that they need time to be able to cross-examine both, I've had trials with both of these prosecutors. They're both experienced. They're very, very familiar with the trial of major criminal cases. I feel that they're more than capable of being able to cross-examine, for example, number one, Dr. Volkovich, who is a board-certified emergency medicine physician. His report indicates that he has taken a look at South Shore Hospital. He's taken a look at the Brigham and Women's Hospital. He's taken a look at the photographs. That's their evidence. That's all he looked at. And all he's doing is basically what all of their South Shore doctors came in and testified to as to the nature of the injuries, in his opinion, the type of injury that she suffered, talking about the injuries to the right and left wrist as well as the neck. In his opinion, dealing with suicide attempts, that it's a legitimate suicide attempt. There's no secrets. There's nothing new that they have to prepare to cross-examine him on. Dr. Laposada is a doctor that is well known to most of us, and I've been using Dr. Laposada's fine services for the past decade or longer. I know that both of these attorneys are familiar with her. She's not bringing anything new to the table. She's bringing her opinion based upon their evidence as to the medical records, x-rays, all of the rest of the indicia of the injury that she suffered. Now, they're talking about Lindsay going out and hanging off of a window and then doing, like I said, the Spider-Man slide down the side of the house, apparently. Absolutely ridiculous. She dove out that window, she hit her head, and she suffered what Dr. Laposada refers to as a Jefferson fracture of the spine. That is very, very, very typical for this type of an injury. When somebody dives into the shallow end of a pool, they get that injury, unfortunately. When somebody, kids are on a boat and they're drunk and one of them jumps off a mast into the shallow end of the water off of Cape Cod, they get that type of injury. Superman, when he gets thrown off the horse, 6 feet high, same injury. That's all. She's not bringing any esoteric theory to this case that they need time to prepare. Interestingly enough, the Brigham and Women's Hospital records do make reference to the Jefferson fracture, right from jump. She also assists me, as she always does, on autopsy photographs, any indicia of injuries, and it's her opinion that if they try to say that there are bruises to these little babies that were inflicted by her, they're absolutely wrong. And Dr. Laposada would indicate that these are consistent with either EMT, God bless those first responders, but they were in a panic and they're trying to take care of these kids and pick them up and run them up to their trucks and vehicles. So, and other, obviously, the interosseous injection into the legs, the shins, the thighs, all of these bruises are from medical intervention, not Lindsay Clancy. That's what she would testify to. That's it. They don't need time to prepare to cross-examine for that. Finally, I have Dr. Condi. Dr. Condi signed even better than a report. He signed an affidavit. And again, it's based upon medical records that we all have. Way back when this case first started, the government presented the case to the grand jury. First thing I said to Lindsay was sign a release, let the government get all the medical records. We'll all have access to them. This case is obviously going to be predicated upon the medical records, psychiatric records. We signed every release. They got every document and had them into the grand jury. I got copies, they have copies. Condi would testify to the horrific, in his opinion, failure to comply with the standard of care that would govern psychiatrists, psychologists, Dr. Tufts, who's going to be testifying tomorrow, nurse practitioner Gelada, the other individual from the McLean Hospital, all records that they've had for years. So they don't need time to prepare for cross-examination. So weeks ago, counsel, after I gave them copies of all of these reports and affidavit, strike that, I'm sorry, the reports I just got, and I just sent them the affidavit from Condi they already have, I disclosed to them what my opinion would be of the opinions from these doctors that would be testifying, and the report carries that out. I suggest to the court that to strip Lindsay's ability to present evidence in support of her defense, number one, it would not be in the interest of justice. I'd like to hear a DA stand up and say, in the interest of justice in this case, because weeks ago we got this information and we're not prepared to testify, to cross-examine the testifying witnesses. I think even Your Honor would agree.
Why do they keep saying they're not prepared? Like, why don't you get prepared then?
Yeah.
You had it for a few weeks. Go get prepared. Why don't you work? Why don't you go ahead and work this weekend?
Because they're scrambling. They thought they were going to waltz in with, this theory.
Their case has gone really bad. Yeah. Almost every single witness, minus the first responders, but every other witness, he has turned into a witness for him.
And he wants to take the medical professionals and grill them and say, hey, prove that this wasn't what we think it is, what the prosecution is saying. And I think the prosecution wants time to groom their witnesses to make them say what they want them to say.
I think that there was one thing that happened where they called Patrick Clancy's father to the stand, and he talked about an instance where Lindsay, her middle child, who was like really rambunctious, like overly rambunctious, a handful is how he's described. He hit one of his siblings or did something, and she like grabbed him by the arm and like yanked him away. So I think that she might try to say that she was abusive to her kids.
Right.
So
I know that's where they're going with all this.
So he needs somebody to make sure to note that any of the bruises and stuff, where they came from, all of them.
Yeah.
So that's what he needs her for. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Is a disingenuous argument. She came in and said to you, oh, Rule 14 matters, and it applies to the government just as it applies to the defense, and therefore you should exclude these witnesses. Well, if I messed up, and it's my trial schedule that caused me to not be able to have written reports of the stuff that they've had for years to prepare to cross-examine these witnesses, then it's my fault, and it deprives her of effective assistance of counsel, because that would then deprive her of her defense. This is a pathologist, an emergency room doctor, and a doctor who would testify to the standards that would apply to these doctors that they're going to call as their witnesses, which is another interesting fillip, if you will, where they're calling Tufts, Gelada, the other individuals from McLean, all treating physicians of her that are all lined up to come in and testify against her on this case. Fine, bring it. But at least give me the ammunition to counter it.
Let me ask you this, maybe kind of go backwards. In regards to Dr. Condi, the affidavit really speaks more towards the standard of care.
That's right. He's not giving an opinion of criminal responsibility.
Right, but I'm struggling to see how that comes in. Now, maybe.
Well, he's the doctor that I'm using for toxicology.
That's what I feel. But the reason I'm asking that is I'm not sure in this case, is this the standard of care necessarily as relevant as opposed to causation? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think the standard of care does speak to causation. He doesn't have to use it as standard of care. He can use it as his opinion as to the first doctor that she spoke to, Dr. Tufts, when she presents with a bipolar 1 presentation, and then Tufts prescribes an SSRI to her, which flies in the face of any rational psychiatrist and what they would prescribe and do. He's more than qualified to testify.
That's a different question, and that may be more admissible than someone saying, oh, I found what the standard of care, and I find that this violates it. If we have got an expert who says, listen, I am qualified, I looked at these records, I disagree with that treatment, I'd be more inclined to allow that than to get into the standard of care, which is obviously consistent more with the civil world.
So with that, I can reach out to Dr. Condi and have him delete reference to standard of care in his report and address the actual treatment as to an opinion as to its appropriateness. But again, on the issue that they're raising, that they need time to prepare to cross-examine, I don't think that lies even if he revises his report by removing standard of care.
Well, let me ask you this, because I haven't had an opportunity. This is probably what I'm going to have to look at tonight. Is Dr. Condi adding anything to the expert disclosures that have already been made? Because I know there's disclosures.
He's taking the medical records, Tufts, Gelada, McLean Hospital, and just commenting on the care and the treatment that was presented to her as a patient looking for help. That's all he's doing. He's not adding anything. He's talking about the prescriptions that were provided to her, the SSRIs, the antipsychotics, the benzodiazepines, all of that. That's what his opinion is predicated upon, which is all of the prescriptions that the government has already introduced into evidence and is well aware of.
Right. But I know that the parties have already exchanged reports months ago, and I know that everybody did that. And I haven't had a chance to review specifically the defendant's reports. And I don't think there an expert who's going to address these kind of issues already.
No, Dr. Condi was my toxicologist and my physician that would give an opinion as to the appropriateness of the treatment that she received, especially as it relates to the prescriptions. I mean, Dr. Laposada is a pathologist. She has nothing to do with it. Dr. Zeisel is a psychologist. He has nothing to do with it. Dr. Resnick is a psychiatrist specializing in infanticide. He's not addressing that issue, and nor is Dr. Spinelli, who is a postpartum postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis expert. So Dr. Condi is my expert for toxicology and care, level of care that she received.
All right.
Which guts the defense if their argument that they need time to cross-examine or prepare is also an exclusion.
Okay, come on.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to Dr. Condi, one of my points is going to be that his affidavit addresses the standard of care, which is more of the civil issue, but you've already addressed that with defense counsel's pivot that he would then instead testify about the treatment of the defendant in toxicology. Looking at the affidavit in which he outlines his qualifications, he's not a toxicologist. He's a physician licensed here in Massachusetts. He's done a residency in general psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and forensic psychiatry, but he's not a toxicologist. And also, it's not just us having all the same records that makes for cross-examination to be fundamentally fair. There's more to cross-examination than just having the underlying data. It's also knowing more about the expert, being able to look into their publications and their prior testimony, and being able to prepare to rebut anything that they might testify to. And where we have this late disclosure, which was 1 week prior to trial starting, that's fundamentally unfair to the Commonwealth. And I think what Dr. Condi would be testifying to, if it's just limited to her treatment and what was prescribed to her, that's covered by the other 3 experts that defense already has. They all talk about her treatment, the prescription she was on, and the effects those had on her. So I think that would be redundant, and it would be unfair to the Commonwealth to add this 4th expert to talk about the same things that the other 3 experts are going to talk about when we haven't had a chance to prepare for this particular expert. For Dr. Laposada, what we have is a 2.5-page letter to Attorney Reddington outlining her thoughts, but it doesn't say what her opinions are based on. It doesn't say which materials she's reviewed and what she's relying on. So I would suggest that
she's reviewed all of it. Like, what do you mean? We don't know what she's reviewed. She's reviewed your evidence. Like, what are you talking about, lady?
She's just trying to do her job. Doing a bad job of it. Where's her big bow?
That's the other one.
Oh,
okay. And she's wearing it in here. You could see it in the beginning. It's not as big as it usually is.
It's an insufficient report. And again, with the delayed disclosure, for example, she talks about Jefferson fracture causing the injury. So if we had this information previously and knew this is what they were going to argue, we could have obtained our own expert to talk about the mechanism of injury and Jefferson fractures and all of those things. But we weren't told until a week before trial that she would even potentially be a witness. And then we get this report on July 26th. That's a 2.5-page letter.
But didn't we have multiple trauma surgeons, neurosurgeons who've testified, who treated her? Couldn't someone just ask, is that consistent with, and that's pretty much what I'm looking at Dr. Laposada's note. I'm not sure I would allow in opinions regarding whether or not it's a serious suicide or not, but she does indicate it's consistent with landing on somebody, on an individual's head.
Well, Your Honor, we had a trauma surgeon from the South Shore Hospital testify who said that the injuries that Ms. Clancy sustained were a level 1 and she had to be transported to another hospital where doctors who were trained in those injuries could operate on her. So we didn't think that she would have the knowledge and the training and experience to testify about the nature of those injuries and how they occur. The trauma surgeon from Brigham and Women's Hospital is with the military and is overseas in the Middle East and so was unavailable. But had we known that this was going to be an issue and they were going to allege this particular...
That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, come on, lady.
Type of fracture, we would have endeavored to get another expert in replace of the doctor who treated her at Brigham and Women's, but we didn't know that this would even be an issue until a week before trial. And again, this letter is dated July 26th, and it doesn't tell us which records, which reports, or which what medical journals or training or anything that these opinions are based on.
Well, that can be done by voir dire. I mean, the Commonwealth has at least inferred through their case that this was not a serious suicide attempt, right? I mean, and there's questions about whether or not someone's hanging outside the window or not. And so why wasn't this an issue that the Commonwealth could have anticipated would come up?
The position of the Commonwealth isn't that it wasn't a serious suicide attempt. It's that the methods that were chosen were insufficient to achieve the goal. And the reasons for that, we would argue in our closing. I don't think we have to disclose that theory at this point, but we've never said it wasn't a serious suicide attempt. We've never said it was a fake suicide attempt. What we've endeavored to develop from the testimony is that the methods that were chosen were methods that would be unsuccessful, but we're not saying it wasn't a serious attempt. And I think the reasons for that will become clearer when the doctors give their testimony. But it's our position that she was attempting to kill herself that night, and there are various reasons and factors where she was unsuccessful in killing herself, but successful in killing her children.
That's BS.
There's been all kinds of testimony regarding, it seems to be a dispute of whether or not.
Listen, the judge isn't buying it either.
He's hanging from the windowsill or goes out head first. there's some testimony that's been raised, even with the blood experts, things that she may have been hanging from the windowsill. Dr. Laposado, it seems what they're seeking here is those injuries are consistent with somebody who lands on their head.
So would the court allow us to call a witness who's not on our witness list to rebut that evidence?
Yeah, I would consider that. Sure. Yeah. And this is kind of what, why I didn't make a decision on this earlier. They had to kind of see how the case develops. This issue of how this injury occurs is certainly, it's either been specifically and explicitly raised or inferred in multiple questions.
So anyway, that was interesting. Another interesting thing that happened that I'm not going to show was Reddington went off.
You told me about that.
Yeah, he went off about a hot mic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Lindsay Clancy was crying a lot. Obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It was really upsetting. I mean, I've cried a few times like watching the trial. I have to watch the trial. I don't even watch it. I listen to it from like a safe distance.
Yeah.
So like I'll have it playing over here and I'll be on the other side of the room. Yeah. So she was crying loudly. You can't control it when you're that upset.
Yeah.
And there was a hot mic where it sounds like they said shut her up.
Who did? Prosecution?
Yeah.
Oh, bad for him.
And Reddington was like, yeah, no.
I do agree with the one thing he said.
Who?
Reddington.
I agree with everything he said.
I agree with the whole, he shouldn't allow someone to testify to say that the injuries were consistent with a suicide attempt. Because he could say that they're consistent with them landing on their head, with them jumping out of a window and landing on their head and stuff like that. But I think it's a little too vague to say, oh, this was definitely a suicide attempt based on these injuries. But the prosecution gets to say it was superficial, that the cuts were superficial, and they're so full of it.
Well,
trying to say like that they're not suggesting that it wasn't a. Their whole case is based around the idea that it wasn't a legit suicide attempt.
Listen, in medical terms, superficial doesn't have the negative connotation that it does everywhere else. So superficial just means like,
On the surface.
On the surface, right. And it didn't go
I get that.
enough to cause any real damage.
But the fact that the prosecution turns around now and says, oh, we're not trying to suggest it wasn't a serious suicide attempt is complete BS. Like that has been their whole case, has been suggesting that it wasn't a legit suicide attempt, that she murdered her children, and that she wasn't going through some sort of psychosis.
If I was a juror, what I would want to know after hearing superficial, what I would want to know is, does she have scarring?
Yeah.
Does she have scars now, today, from these attempts?
I don't care what anyone says. She tried to cut her own throat. That is like just full stop. That is not well. That is not something that you do when you're trying to convince people that you want to kill yourself. Or that you want to unalive yourself. Excuse me.
So do you remember the last time we recorded, which was a week ago because we skipped Wednesday this week?
Yeah.
Do you remember when I played that video of the girl who used to work at the hospital?
Yeah.
So Reddington actually added her to the witness list. So somebody watched her TikTok.
Yeah.
And
well, she can testify to how that hospital actually works, and that the one-on-one sessions that they claim Lindsay had are not actually, they're not that big of a deal.
So we're about to listen to the psychiatrist at that hospital allege what Lindsay got there. Yeah. And I'm just going to play the cross because this lady sounds like an idiot. Like she sounds like a moron. I was baffled. So I'll play that.
All right, let's do it.
I called it moron inpatient psychiatrist.
That's terrible.
Don't ever send me to this woman. Like, if I need help, she won't be able to help me. Okay.
I don't plan on it.
Okay. Excellent.
Her thoughts of suicide or her thoughts of wanting to die. Was she expressly asked if she wanted to kill herself?
Yes.
And what was her answer, if you recall?
She denied that.
She denied that?
Yes.
And was she specifically asked if she had a plan to kill herself?
Yes.
And what was her answer to that?
She denied it.
And was she specifically asked if she wanted to harm anyone else?
Yes.
And did she provide an answer for that?
She denied it.
And those are standard questions you would ask at every interaction with her, correct?
Yes.
And prior to discharge, she would also be asked those questions again, correct?
Yes.
Because if her answers changed at any point, it would have changed your plan, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, here comes K Shred, as everybody's calling him K Shred. I love it.
He's good.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Reddington.
Do you think Dr. Goodhart might die of heart disease?
I don't know who's Dr. Goodhart, the psychiatrist?
Yeah, her last name's Goodhart, but I mean,
That would be ironic if it happened. It would be
heart disease is like the biggest killer of women, I think.
It's a big killer.
Yeah.
I'd like to start off just by asking, District Attorney asked you about resources that were provided to her. What were the resources?
We had discussed going on Psychology Today, where
I'm sorry?
She was aware of the website Psychology Today.
Website?
Yes, she was given the name of a case manager through her insurance who she could contact for
We told her she could go on Psychology Today.
Yeah, go on Psychology Today. That'll be good for you.
That's how you can get help in the
That's
future
the most
after you leave
ridiculous I've
here.
ever heard.
Yeah, that was just one of the.
You're going to tell a person who's having a mental health crisis to go on Psychology Today. That's going to be beneficial.
Yeah, that's what she did in this world-class care.
assistance in finding new providers.
So other than telling her about the website for Psychology Today and talking about her insurance company and what they would allow for her to reach out for what, other providers? Is that what it was?
Can you restate that?
Sure, of course. You referenced her insurance company.
Yes.
I mean, that's a major consideration in medical treatment, is it not? What a person has for insurance?
No.
No?
I don't understand what you mean by
You know what insurance is? I mean, as far as like a person paying their bills for medical treatment or psychiatric treatment.
The insurance is important because who you can see is limited by what insurance you have.
So that's what I was asking as far as the insurance. You referenced that on the resources, when the DA asked you about resources, and I asked you what were the resources, and you said going on the website for Psychology Today, right?
Yes.
And that you spoke to her about her insurance, right?
We gave her the name of a case manager who she could contact and her telephone number in case she wanted to find other providers. They would be able to look at their database and figure out what providers would be within the distance she was comfortable with, whether they were male or female, if she had a preference, and if she had any preference about any specialization.
Okay. And in reference to the insurance, what is the insurance? You answered the question about insurance. I'm just asking, what is the involvement of insurance in that offer of resources?
I don't understand your question.
Right, maybe I didn't understand your answer. That's why I apologize. You had indicated that in addition to telling her to go on the website for Psychology Today, that you spoke about her insurance and other providers that would be permitted, I guess, under her insurance.
Not every patient, the fact that she had a case manager at Blue Cross Blue Shield was an added benefit because they could assist her in finding providers.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
All right. Other than the case manager from Blue Cross Blue Shield and to do research off of the website for Psychology Today, what resources were provided to this woman?
There are numerous resources that are printed on the after visit summary. I don't know each and every one of them, but I think they would be in the medical record.
Okay. And that's something that is provided to a patient when they leave?
Yes.
She came in on a voluntary, is that correct? In other words, I know she was transported by an ambulance, but nevertheless, it was that she and her husband, Patrick, wanted her to be treated at McLean, correct?
She came in and signed in on a voluntary.
In other words, there were no orders of a court, no judge ordering that she be committed or anything like that. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And she came in on, was it New Year's Eve? January 1st?
Yes.
And do you remember what time she came in?
I think she arrived at the CEC around 4.
Now, would you agree that on New Year's Eve in McLean Hospital, that ward is pretty much running on a skeleton crew?
I can't speak to something. I'm not there.
Well, it's obviously you're not there, but what about other people? Was skeleton crew New Year's Eve?
You would have to ask somebody who was there.
Well, you've worked there for what, 7 years?
5.
5 years. And what is the ward that she was on?
AB1 South.
81 South?
A as in apple, B as in boy, 1 South.
South. And how many doctors work at AB South, on whatever shifts that you may have?
There are 4 psychiatrists assigned who work on AB1 South.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, that's it.
And does that include you?
Yes.
And approximately how many nurses work on AB South?
I wouldn't know, but I know that there is a nurse assigned to each team and that there are 4 teams. Sometimes, yeah, in general.
4 teams on AB South, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say a team, that consists of what? A psychiatrist, a nurse perhaps, or what?
A psychiatrist, a nurse, a social worker, and an assigned mental health worker.
And what are the shifts that this team would work?
There are 3 shifts.
Okay. And would that be like, 7 to 11, or 11 to 4, that type of thing?
I think there's 7-hour shifts or 8-hour shifts. I don't know the exact times.
All right. And are you assigned a shift, or do you just go whenever you want?
We are not assigned shifts.
And when she was presented to the hospital, she went through that initial evaluation that you told us about, the CEC. Is that correct?
I'm sorry.
CEC, maybe you were talking about the CEC?
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Sure. When she admitted herself and was escorted onto AB South, that's where she was evaluated?
She was evaluated in the CEC by the psychiatrist. Then she came to the unit and was seen by Dr. Madwal later the same day. So she met 2 psychiatrists on January 1st.
Okay. So you have a woman that has admitted herself to McLean on New Year's for help, right?
Yes.
And she was evaluated at the...
You bored, Chris?
No, I'm frustrated with this woman.
You look really tired.
I'm not tired. I'm frustrated with this woman.
Oh, one of your eyes was closed, so
She's
I thought...
very frustrating. She just constantly keeps going, I don't understand the question. Like,
I know.
you understand the question, you just don't. And then she's like telling them that the resources are like in the paper that are in the, like, whatever, dude. Like, this is ridiculous.
CEC, is that on that ward, or is that a different part of the hospital?
It's a different part.
Okay. And how long does that evaluation typically take?
I can't speak to that. I don't work in the CEC.
What do you do in the CEC? What happens in the CEC? Does this person sit down and they get interviewed, or what do they do?
There's a full psychiatric evaluation.
And a full psychiatric evaluation consists of what?
A chief complaint, a history of, so basically a history of present illness, which would be what brings the person into the hospital.
Okay.
They review past psychiatric history, substance use history, social history, family history. They do a mental status exam, and then they make an assessment.
And they would be the CEC?
Psychiatrist.
And that would be the psychiatrist that you were referring to?
Dr. Outlaw.
Dr. Outlaw. Now, how long does a CEC typically take?
I do not know. It depends on the speed of the person seeing the patient.
I imagine that
she doesn't know anything.
A psychiatrist or a social worker.
I mean, I think it just kind of speaks to how disengaged from patients they are at this hospital.
She said, go on Psychology Today. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. You're having a mental health crisis, and someone's like, go on this webpage and read
She also said that they don't have a work schedule. What?
She doesn't. She doesn't have a work schedule. She's not on call. So who is, right? Like, you're the psychiatrist testifying to the quality of care.
She just goes whenever she feels like it.
I don't know.
Somebody must get into the prior history that the patient had prior to coming to your doorstep, right?
That is a part of the evaluation, yes.
Okay. And you had a chance, as the district attorney asked you, as to whether or not you were able to review the medical records that involved Lindsay Clancy's treatment at McLean Hospital.
So you get the point of this, right?
Yes. Is Lindsay Clancy paralyzed now?
She's paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah, but she wasn't. That wasn't a serious attempt.
Yeah, a fake attempt, from Spider-Manning or whatever. I mean, even the judge called BS on that, which was really funny.
The whole thing is BS. And those people they've got testifying remind me of the doctors during the Maya Kowalski trial.
Yeah.
Where they're just disconnected. Like it's like they're operating on their own. Well, okay, hear me out. They're operating on their own perception of what's going on versus looking at the actual like what the events to transcribe. That's their personal opinion of what's going on as opposed to an objective analysis of what happened. That's my opinion.
So the other thing I want to show you is this psychiatrist that she was seeing through whatever health system she belongs to. Kind of like when I make an appointment, I can just, choose and get a telehealth appointment.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that too. They mentioned Blue Cross Blue Shield, how she had a caseworker. That was one of her benefits. I've dealt with Blue Cross Blue Shield. What that means is there's a person, an insurance person, who is going to tell you what you're allowed to do based on the insurance company's perception of what's going on with you. That's not a benefit.
Yeah, they actually kind of get into that a little bit because what I'm going to play for you, this psychiatrist was trying different things. Lindsay wasn't getting better. And Lindsay said, would ketamine work? Kind of like when I was getting migraines and I tried a couple things and the migraine specialist told me that since like all of my issues with migraines are from my genetic condition, Botox in my neck, in the back of my neck would work really well to help with them, but my insurance won't cover it until I try 4 medications unsuccessfully.
That's what I'm getting at. And that's my point. That's the level of care she had was that, well, that was one of her benefits that she had, was she was going to have some insurance company telling her what she's allowed to do and what she's not allowed to do.
Right.
That's not a benefit.
Or whenever I was at the dermatologist, because when I, through perimenopause, I started getting like really itchy scalp and it got so bad. It was like a cradle cap or something. And I've never had dandruff in my life. And I was like, what's happening? And I tried a couple things and nothing was working. And I got a new dermatologist and she is like, this is what you need. And it was amazing. I got it once and it worked within a couple days. It was all gone. I couldn't believe it. And then when I tried to get a refill, my insurance denied it. And they required that I use a cream on my scalp, or not a cream, an ointment on the scalp that's for ringworm.
Yeah.
Before they'll approve it.
I'm just saying that this lady trying to imply that having an insurance company representative to tell you what you're allowed to do is somehow a benefit of your care.
No.
It's crazy. That is some BS. That is some like what is it? Enablest BS. Like,
in my experience with doctors like that I work with, they don't like insurance companies and they wouldn't call something like that a benefit. So I don't know where she's coming from. Like even the thing with my dermatologist, I was like, so my insurance is requiring that I use this, but obviously I'm not going to put an ointment on my scalp because it's going to look like I rubbed a bunch of Crisco in my hair and it's not going to work anyway because I don't have ringworm there.
Yeah.
So can you write me the prescription and we'll pretend like I took it? And it was like a whole eye roll. I hate having to deal with these insurance companies telling me how to treat my patients.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
She's the opposite side of that. She's probably paid off by the insurance company. She's probably paid off by the insurance company and she's like, oh, this is how you care.
I don't think she's paid off. I think she's just an idiot. Anyway, we're going to see a worse doctor.
Okay.
Who Lindsay suggests to her at a certain point she get ketamine treatment and the doctor's like, I don't know that insurance will cover it. You have to try a series of drugs first, which if nothing's working and you're, say, bipolar, would your insurance mandate that you take an SSRI before they give you ketamine? Because everybody knows that you should not be taking that if you're bipolar, which you told me about that. And I've learned since. I've been watching a lot of videos about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why doctors decide to do that. I don't know if it's an insurance thing. I don't know if it's doctors thinking they know better than you. Like, there's a lot of that. So I don't know.
This court's now in session. Please be seated. Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and including the 18 jurors.
All right. Attorney Sprague?
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Dr. Tufts, back on that first appointment with Ms. Clancy on September 15th, 2022, as part of the record, did you detail a section, history of present illness?
Yes.
And in that section, you put in here initial presentation, nursing school, Prozac helped, got treatment after second baby, 2 for anxiety, Zoloft 1 week, was nervous about breastfeeding, initial side effects. Can you just tell us where that information came from?
My conversation with the patient.
Okay. And where it says Zoloft 1 week, was nervous about breastfeeding, what does that mean?
So she had tried Zoloft.
She looks and sounds really young.
Yeah.
Her date of birth is in 1989, so I guess she's not that young, but I wouldn't want this baby psychiatrist treating me. And she said she's been practicing for like 2 years or something at this point today. Ooh. So she was brand new.
Why is she testifying?
She was the psychiatrist who Lindsay saw through the telehealth.
So that was it? There's nobody above her?
Yeah, she was the one, herself, who treated Lindsay Clancy for when she initially said, I think I have depression, until I think she talked to her a couple days before the incident where her children passed away. This woman is her doctor, this infant.
I don't care about her age. It's just 2 years of experience for something like this is not, that's not suitable.
Before, during the postpartum period after her second baby.
And did she tell you whether she had any side effects when she took Zoloft after her second baby?
She mentioned something about initial side effects, which are pretty common for many people. I didn't detail what those side effects were, but they sounded like the very normal ones that people might experience that are transient in the beginning of the treatment.
And what would those side effects be?
Possibly upset stomach, appetite issues.
Can we know what related to this patient rather than somebody?
All right. So why don't you ask if she remembers what the defendant said the side effects were?
Do you remember what the defendant said the side effects were?
I don't remember them exactly, but they were ones that did not seem concerning.
And in your experience, in your training and experience as a psychiatrist who prescribes Zoloft, what are the common side effects that you deal with, that patients deal with from this medication?
So in the first couple of weeks of treatment, we described that there's a lot of serotonin in the gut as well as the brain. So the medicine often affects the gut first. So you might have diarrhea, constipation, difficulties with appetite, nausea, things like that.
And you also wrote in the note about history of present illness, 3 months postpartum, also 4 and 2-year-old feeling overwhelmed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that came from the patient, Ms. Clancy?
Yes.
And furthermore,
feeling overwhelmed, that's totally normal. She had 3 little kids.
Listen,
like,
in her 2 years of experience. Jeez.
You wrote that the baby needing more attention, other kids more challenging too. Is that coming from the patient?
Yes.
And does she also describe she's having trouble leaving the baby, too anxious to do anything when she leaves, physical tension, heart racing, worries he won't eat or sleep because he's refusing the bottle?
Yes.
And did she say that makes her irritable?
Yes.
And in that same note is where you detail that she denied audio hallucinations, visual hallucinations. You also, correct?
Yes.
And you also detail suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, denies no concern about hurting baby. Is the no concern about hurting baby, is that an observation you're making or something that came from Ms. Clancy?
It came from our conversation.
So at some point in time, she told you she had no concerns about harming the baby?
Yes, it was.
Just an objection? You can rephrase that question.
What did she tell you about her thoughts about the baby?
I asked if there were those thoughts, and she denied them.
And did you also provide information to her about what to do if in between appointments there were emergencies or issues?
Yes, I believe that I did. I usually do when I meet a patient.
And in the page describing treatment follow-up plan, which would be
When you meet a patient, you're still practicing? Like you didn't lose your job?
Yeah, right.
in the initial diagnostic assessment from September 15th in that treatment follow-up plan section. There's a part there that says, if having urges to harm self or others, go to the nearest emergency room, call 911, or call the National Suicide Prevention and Crisis Hotline, correct?
Yes.
Is this page given to the patient?
They can access it online on the portal.
So Ms. Clancy would have the ability to go on here, look at the portal, and see what to do if she was having a crisis?
Yeah, just this this plan section, yes.
Just the treatment plan section?
Yes.
So is it that she would have to search through the records, or is that something you can click on to see the treatment plan?
I'm not sure exactly what it looks like for a patient.
Okay, but that's one of the sections that's available to the patient, Lindsay Clancy, if she goes onto the portal?
Yes.
There's also in here, if you feel you're in crisis, you may text home to a certain text number from anywhere in the United States. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what does that do when you text that text number you text home to that text number?
It connects you to a counselor.
Now, what was the treatment or follow-up plan for Ms. Clancy?
To start the sertraline, to start individual therapy, and to follow up with myself.
So your recommendation wasn't just that she take pills, you recommended that she attend therapy, correct?
Yes.
And
when I was a kid, psychiatrists actually did therapy.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. This whole thing is ridiculous.
Like they don't seem to do that anymore. Therapists do. Therapists do therapy.
Oh, I had a psychiatrist once that was also my therapist. I didn't like it.
Why not?
It just was like they weren't as good of a therapist as they were of a psychiatrist. Like it's two different things.
Okay.
But this whole thing is very frustrating because it's like, oh, if she's having a crisis, she can log onto the portal and read something. It's like, that's not how it works. If you're having a mental health crisis, you're not cognizant enough and aware enough of how crazy you are to go on a web page and read about something. Like I don't know. I feel like she tried to sound alarms. Her husband tried to sound alarms. These people left it up to her to make decisions and decide whether or not like her behavior was consistent with appropriate behavior. You see what I'm saying? Like she can't make that distinction when she's out of her mind.
So I want to place one more thing for you regarding this, and then I want to move on.
I just think these doctors, like, I get that they're bound by insurance companies. I get that the mental health is not, it's not as like cut and dry as your arm being broken necessarily. But this whole game they're playing, the blame game of like, oh, the onus is on the patient to treat their mental illness. I've encountered some of that in my life, and that's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. It's bad medicine.
So do you know who Samantha Beningo is?
No.
So her dad's like a famous radio guy, sports guy in New York, but she's awesome. She's a psychotherapist, I think, working on her doctorate. And I have a 20-minute clip of her, or 20-second clip of her to play for you. So it's going to be short, but it just kind of sums all this crap up. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Take a pause to appreciate this is unheard of. You do not let a psychiatric patient walk out of your institution after 4 days while they are in the midst of tapering off of an antipsychotic medication, no matter why you're on it, just to leave because they want to go to a birthday party with no psychiatrist on the other end, no treatment professional to call and to contact.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not wrong.
I remember when, so my first successful psychiatrist, right? I told them basically take the wheel. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm obviously not well. I need you to take the wheel. It sounds like from what I've heard of this case.
What were you dealing with at that point?
I had just gotten back from New York on a trip where I blacked out a lot and my behavior was erratic. I was cycling very quickly. It was just not, I was just not myself. I wasn't healthy. I didn't understand why I was doing the things I was doing. They were very reckless. I didn't feel like I was in control of anything. So I told them, take the wheel. I said, you tell me what to do. Like, don't just, assume that I can handle this on my own. And I feel like there was some of that, at least with Lindsay Clancy's husband, where people were sounding the alarm and saying, hey, something's not right. We need help. And these psychiatrists have the nerve to be like, oh, just go online or read a piece of paper.
Something really simple that I don't think that people understand about supporting your partner when they have a baby is, so I'm going to apply traditional gender roles here. But say the new mother and the husband's like, oh, what can I do to help? What can I do to help out? They need you to just go in and do the things, not what do I need to help? And then you make them a list and you tell them and you stay on top of that. You need to just do.
Yeah.
You need to just swoop in and start doing. Think about what needs done. Don't announce what you're doing. Get all the laundry done. Go make some baby food puree or whatever. Like go do the things without asking. Just do.
Yeah.
What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? Don't ask me, just help.
I say the same thing about someone having a mental health crisis. That's not the time to ask the person having the mental health crisis how you can help them. I feel like this is happening a lot in medicine where doctors no longer tell you what to do. They ask you what you want them to do for you. And I think it's a bigger issue with medicine right now. Maybe it has to do with sort of the transactional aspects of medicine at this point. But like I've noticed before, I've been to like a doc in the box, right? Like one of those minute clinics. And they'll be like, so what are your symptoms? So what would you like me to prescribe you? Kind of stuff. And so what do you mean? What would I want? I don't know. You're the doctor. You're supposed to tell me what to do to fix the symptoms I have, right? I feel like that happens in psychiatric medicine too, where people are like, oh, describe what you're going through and then tell me how you want me to help you. And it's like, I don't know. I'm the crazy one. I need you to tell me how to help myself.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating, especially as someone who's been through a lot of it. Like, you kind of learn to cut the BS out and look for people who are going to, well, if you're aware enough. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Like, you break your leg, you know what to do. You go to the hospital, someone sets it, they put you in a cast. When your brain's broken, no one knows how to respond to that.
It's interesting too, like with bipolar disorder that there was a period of time when you weren't taking your medication anymore and you would you weren't yourself, right? And you had no self-awareness at all about how you were being and how you were acting. And I think like for me, I know I'm being ridiculous. I'm ridiculous all the time now. I'm in such a bad mood 90% of the time. This perimenopause is just killing me. But I'm always self-aware of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
you
can't
can't
help it.
expect can't expect a person with a mental health crisis to be self-aware.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you're like in your, bipolarness and you're not medicated, you have no idea what you need. You don't even know what's going on.
Well, but then like in this case, this woman is being prescribed all kinds of different drugs. None of it's consistent with one diagnosis, right? It's like a cocktail of things that don't make any sense to take together.
I want to wrap this up soon because I have to move on to something else. But I do want to say that after watching 2 full weeks of the testimony and all the evidence that's come out just from the prosecution's case, we haven't heard from the defense yet. I don't think that Lindsay Clancy had postpartum psychosis. I really don't. I think that she was poisoned by these medical providers with medication. She was not sleeping and had severe insomnia and lost her mind, and it's their fault. I think she had some postpartum depression, sure, initially, and in trying to get that treated, they did this to her. They did this to her kids. They did this to her family. It's really messed up.
It's hard to draw the line between her just having general drug-induced psychosis and postpartum psychosis.
This
I don't know.
definitely
which
seems
it
like
is.
drug-induced psychosis to me.
Possibly.
Combined with a lack of sleep, absolutely.
Maybe it was a mix of column A, column B. There was some postpartum stuff going on. The kids were frustrating. She went crazy, couldn't control herself because of all these chemicals in her body.
When you're that tired, you can't function normally. You can't. But she had to. She still had to be mom.
Well, something happened, obviously, that made her make a choice between living and dying.
Yeah.
And at some point she said, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to take my kids. I'm going to do what I do to them. And then I'm going to take my own, I'm going to unalive myself. Correct. Like, so something had to happen that was extreme enough to take her to that point. But whether or not that was postpartum psychosis or just general drug-induced psychosis, I don't even think that's important. I don't think it was her acting on her own free will. I think she was having a mental health crisis. I think a plea of insanity is the most logical plea for this whole thing.
I saw a video of a lady, it was a couple years old, this video of a lady that had it. And she didn't, nothing bad happened to her kids. They were perfectly fine. But her psychosis started with her doing things like freaking out on her husband because the microwave was leaking radiation and it was dangerous to the kids. So it's like hers was like overprotectiveness, and that manifested into, I have to get my kids away from my husband because he's a drug dealer. And he wasn't. He never did drugs in his life. Like her father-in-law was in the mafia, so the kids couldn't be around them anymore. And that wasn't true either. She just kept coming up with these weird
irrational things. Yeah.
And they got her help, and she's okay today. But she said her psychosis didn't start until she was four months postpartum. It wasn't like right away. And that's, I guess, unusual, but if we're hearing about it, is it?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's probably not common, but.
All right. So I am ready to move on. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to talk about the Native American rehab scandal. And this has been out there for a couple of years, but there's now stuff on the FBI website about it. I mean, there's a lot, and I really just want to cover this and go over it because it's crazy, and this is going to be mostly discussion. Some of it I haven't got a chance to research yet, so we'll do that together. And I wrote a little opening.
Okay.
Which is, imagine getting a phone call. Your brother disappeared 6 months ago. He wasn't a drug addict. He wasn't looking for a rehab. He just simply vanished. And then you discover somehow he ended up hundreds of miles away in Phoenix inside a sober living home. How did he get there and why? And that is, in a nutshell, what this is about. So what we know right now is, beginning in 2019, criminal organizations discovered that they could make enormous amounts of money billing Arizona Medicaid through the American Indian Health Program. Native Americans became especially valuable because the reimbursement system allowed providers to bill for behavioral health and addiction services. According to Arizona officials, the fraud reached about $2.5 billion. So the recruiters, investigators are calling them body brokers. They're not doctors or therapists. They are just recruiters. According to the FBI, they went to reservations, flea markets, trading posts, bus stations, and medical centers looking for Native Americans. Some victims were intoxicated. Others were offered alcohol before they were transported. And when they woke up, they were in Phoenix. The FBI said some of the victims had no idea where they were going and how they got there, and that resulted in numerous missing person reports. Feel free to stop me at any time if there's something you want to discuss in particular.
The fact that they were giving them alcohol before shipping them off to these rehabs is real devious, because that means that they probably got there smelling like alcohol.
Yep.
Kind of drunk. And then the providers are like, oh, this person should be here because look, they're kind of drunk.
So original reporting on this focused on Native Americans seeking addiction treatment. But attorneys involved in newer lawsuits say that's only a small part of the picture. Now they allege many of the victims were not addicts. They did not need rehab, and they simply had Medicaid coverage through the American Indian Health Program. And if that's true, that changes a lot, because now the motive isn't really finding addicts. It's just finding billable people.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So there are deaths verified. Investigative reporters from ProPublica and the Arizona Center for Investigative Reporting identified 40 Native Americans who died in Phoenix area sober living homes or treatment facilities between 2022 and 2024.
What are they dying of?
Drugs and alcohol.
So they're going to rehab and dying of drugs and alcohol?
Yes.
How does that work?
Then there are missing people. Federal officials acknowledge reports of Native Americans disappearing after being recruited, but the Administration for Children and Families has written that concerns have grown from dozens to hundreds, with worries about potentially thousands of missing Indigenous people who have been coercively recruited from Arizona, New Mexico, and other tribal communities. They say 2,000 people may be either dead or missing.
Oh my goodness.
2,000.
That's crazy.
And yes, and that's why this got on my radar. Like, we really need to flush this out a little bit. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So, I made a binder. So I have to be verified on the FBI website. Hold on. Are you not going to respond? All right, let me try that again.
FBI is overloaded.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't heard much about the FBI in a while.
Well, since Nancy Guthrie, right?
Yeah.
And this is from January 5th, 2023. Seeking victims in the Phoenix group homes targeting Native American investigation. So right now they're trying to find victims. They're trying to find as many as they can. They want to prosecute. They want a clear picture. And this is still ongoing. So, anybody that has been targeted or anybody that knows someone that may have been targeted, contact the FBI. There's a website. There's an article about it. So
these people are these are just random gang members, essentially, right? Like organized criminals that are going to reservations and picking up random Native Americans that have Medicare and sending them to a rehab.
I've actually read a couple things about it. I read that criminal organizations are the ones that are running these rehabs. But then I also found that it's just like grifters that are doing it.
But they run the rehabs and then they go and get the people and then they bill Medicare for the money to take care of these people, but they're not really drug addicts or alcoholics.
Yeah. And I wonder how they're all connected, right?
Are they pumping drugs? Because you said most of the deaths are around drug and alcohol use. So are they giving the people drugs while they're there to
Possibly.
substantiate their addictions?
Keeping them there. We're going to get into some like people's accounts of this happening. So I just want to bring up the Arizona. I want to bring up some maps for us to look at, just for context. So let me present this. All right. So can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So everything here in orange, those are where Native Americans live, and here's Phoenix. So they could be all the way up here and then, Navajo Nation or, and driven the whole way to Phoenix without telling anyone, just vanishing and going there.
Yeah.
So another one I want to look at is the Navajo Nation. Oh, that's not the right page. That's not the page I wanted. I was looking for a map and it just sent me to Navajo is such a cool language.
Yeah.
So the Associated Press did an article, a lot of research into this, stolen people, which can we please stop stealing the people and stealing their land?
Yeah, really.
Native Americans are definitely at risk in a lot of these places. Let's use an example. Do you remember when we were in Nevada and I wanted to go to Pyramid Lake?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember? Can you describe what you saw when we entered the reservation?
Look desolate, run down, maybe not even run down, like barren, like barely functional.
Trailers without electricity, trash
that's what I mean.
everywhere. Yeah, no electricity.
Like there's not a lot of social services, right? Like there's nobody.
And there's
picking up
no
trash.
and
Nobody.
there's nobody picking up trash and there's no infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like someone was given a bare plot of land and was told to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So the AP did an article on this stolen people, and it's not a long article. It's pretty interesting, and I don't want to read the whole thing out to you, but just know people are talking about it. Big news organizations are talking about it, but nobody seems to really be doing anything about it yet.
Right.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this. So one of them was this account, and this is why I brought up the let me see if I can find this on here. Autumn Nelson. So Autumn Nelson said she was seeking help for alcohol addiction last spring when a fellow member of the Blackfeet Nation in Montana suggested a rehab in Phoenix, far to the south. The 38-year-old said the center even bought her a one-way airline ticket to make the 1,300-mile, that's 21 kilometers, journey. When Nelson said after a month she was kicked out after questioning why there was one therapist for 30 people and no Native American staff, despite a focus on Native clients. All of a sudden, I was out in 108-degree heat in Phoenix, Arizona. I was scared and I didn't have anywhere to go.
And this person actually needed help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to do another one. Another account. Find this. Sorry, it's the same article. I just have to find it with a keyword search. So Diana Marie Moore. Hold on, that's the wrong part. Okay, so Reva Stewart, who is Navajo, got involved a year ago after watching drivers stop vans outside the Phoenix Indian Medical Center offering people a place to stay. Something didn't look right.
That's deviant.
And her cousin disappeared into a similar vehicle. After
That's
an
very
hour,
devious. Like asking people who are not doing well, be like, "Oh, I got a place for you to stay." That's actually a rehab where I'm going to bill you for Medicare to make money off of you. Like that's really bad.
After an hours-long trip, the cousin was kicked out of the Phoenix Center she was taken to after refusing to complete intake forms. She said her cousin is now back on the reservation, but not all endings are happy. Rachel Moody, who is Hopi and Apache, described a home where residents were allowed to drink alcohol. She said she left in December after quarreling with her cousin Carlo, who continued. Months later, she learned that her cousin died of alcohol poisoning and was buried in a pauper's grave in Phoenix.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So they have a stolen people, stolen benefits advocacy program that's pretty interesting. So ProPublica did a article, dozens of people died in Arizona sober living home as state officials fumbled Medicare fraud response. I'm going to share this one on the screen so we have a visual.
Okay.
So at least 40 people have identified during this investigation, at least. That's a pretty high number.
Yeah.
But I mean, 40 people.
That's terrible. 40 people that were probably desperate or didn't know what was going on.
So these are the locations where the vans are stopping to pick people up.
Yeah, I mean, see what you mean? It's like those look like, that reminds me of Mexico. Like just, the style of buildings and the rudimentary sort of structures.
Sorry, this is the same article that somebody else used. It's pretty recent, though. ProPublica did a good job. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, yeah. Jeffrey Hustio died in a sober living home in Arizona in 2022.
Was it actually sober?
So Jeffrey Hustio, 43-year-old uncle, brother, and son from the Zuni Pueblo in New Mexico. He was his father's caretaker when he was on dialysis awaiting for a kidney transplant. In the fall of 2021, he sought treatment for alcoholism in Arizona. His father, an Army veteran and custodian for the local Indian Health Service hospital, was relieved to learn about his son's sober decision. The two are really close. But in Phoenix, he became difficult to keep track of. He was caught up in the murky network of treatment programs. Sober living home operators always seemed to be moving him from house to house. His father said, "We were really thrilled when he decided to get treatment, but it just got worse over there." He died in a sober living home in January 27th, 2022. And there is a picture of him right there. I think that's his dad. It's really
That's too
sad.
bad.
It's really sad. So this other one I have marked. Let me find this in here. Oh. So I'm sorry, I'm reading a little bit. So Arizona is the one who reported it was 2.5 billion in fraudulent improper billing associated with this crisis. And only a fraction of it was recovered. So let me bring this up.
That's crazy.
Share this tab. Okay. Arizona has recovered 5% of taxpayer dollars lost in a $2.5 billion Medicare fraud scheme. So approximately $5 is recovered from every $100 lost. That's crazy. And this is all taxpayer money because the Native Americans get free health care.
Yeah.
Which they deserve. I'm not saying that they don't. I think that they do. But we are paying for them to be preyed on.
What do they do with the money? Did they put it in Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. I don't know. I have no idea what they're
To
doing.
hide it?
I'm sure the FBI's on it. I would hope.
Yeah.
But they left all these patients without care. Hundreds of providers are suspended. There's all this tax fraud stuff going on, but at the core of it, people have already died. There are people who are missing. It's just beyond comprehension to me that this is happening, that these people are being preyed on when they're weak and vulnerable, just being offered a place to stay. Some of these people weren't even drug addicts.
Right. That's what I was saying.
A shady fan rolls up, they give you, or they fly you one-way ticket. They don't have any plan to get you home.
It sounds like the sober living facilities were serving alcohol or giving people alcohol, giving people drugs. And it's like, they want to keep them addicted so that they can continue to charge them for it.
Right. So when they give them like drug tests or something, they can say this person failed it.
Yeah.
Right. They tested positive. They have to be, they should be in the program longer. Absolutely. So what's this one? Oh, well, it looks like one person's been charged at one of the facilities out of many.
For what?
Fraud.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what the charge was. I didn't know if they were charged with something else or what.
Yeah, this is a house called Happy House.
I've heard of Happy House.
Yeah. So they're
Maybe
affiliated
that's why
with,
everyone's happy.
they're affiliated with the church.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that why you've heard of them? Is it the Catholic Church?
I don't know if that's why I've heard of them. I wonder if they give everybody drugs and alcohol, and that's how they keep them happy. And
They're also billing the government for people who have either died or they've been arrested.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And they're giving incentives to people to send people to their rehabs, like a patient referral incentive. Yeah, it's really bad. What else did I have? Sober home interior photographs. Do you want to see what these look like?
Sure.
Oh, that link doesn't work anymore.
And
it worked yesterday.
Maybe they weren't real. Somebody had to take them down.
I think that they were real. There's class action lawsuits with 7,000 class members. Now, those are plaintiffs. They are not verified victims.
Right.
Or count of kidnapped people. This is just the plaintiff's attorney's estimate.
Right.
ICT News reported that several victims have described being kidnapped, along with the identified speaker or complaint language. And this is all part of lawsuits that are going on right now.
Right.
People were drugged or force-fed substances. There's a whole thing of this. I showed you a couple of them before, but like I said, there are, I guess, hundreds of them. Let's play this clip from ABC 15. Hold on, I gotta make sure it's not gonna play a commercial. It always does.
Yeah.
Oh, Robin Hood strategies. I don't want to see this. Please don't. I don't want to see Arizona Dodge Ram.
Dodge Ford Jeep Cherokee. Built Ford tough.
I can watch live without this, but I'm not even going to bother. I'm not even going to bother trying to play it. I'm not sitting through the commercial.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So there are families seek answers as native patients allegedly trafficked into fake sober homes. This is interesting. There are photos I'm going to share. Oh, please don't play a commercial. It will, won't it? Don't do it.
Indulge in
I don't care about your molten lava cake. I don't think that's the right thing. Well, anyway, we can't look at the photos because they're in a video that makes you watch a commercial.
Yeah.
Why do they do that? Because I just end up not
pay for
watching.
it?
But I won't watch it. Like, make the commercial at the end. And then I might.
You don't have to watch the commercial for the people who made the commercial to pay for it. They just pay for it.
Wait, what?
People who advertise aren't necessarily making money off of how many times that advertisement gets seen.
Right.
The company pays the people who are putting the advertisement in there for the advertisement. They get paid no matter what.
Yeah. Anyway, this is an ongoing investigation. It's still going on.
That's crazy. It's sick. It's sick. Whatever's
Yeah.
going on is gross.
It's gross. And, you know, I wish more than anything that these communities would just be helped rather than.
Yeah. We don't ever seem to want to help Native communities. We just want to exploit them all the time.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
So I don't think we're gonna do the Reckless Ben video.
Okay.
I have a couple Turtleverse things.
Okay.
So Mark Diller, who is the attorney for the McAlberts in the Karen Reed civil case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wants sanctions against Turtleboy and he wants him compelled to be deposed.
Wait, it's the McAlberts lawyer?
Yeah.
So he's a
Ditto.
scumbag.
Yeah, pretty much. Or maybe he's the O'Queef's lawyer.
Oh, well, it's still scumbag.
No, I think Dildo's the O'Queef's lawyer. And then, so Turtleboy has this New Jersey case, and Bedro has a Brady demand, and I have a brother counsel video to watch about that one. So,
okay.
Do you want to watch Larry the DUI guy, or both?
Whatever you feel. Like, I'll watch Brothers Counsel, of course.
All right.
I love the Brothers Counsel.
So this one, we're gonna watch Larry the DUI guy. He's funny, but This isn't very long.
Okay.
He has a really good camera. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Can I not speed this up? Oh, I had
Maybe
to
not.
go down. I had to go down. I'm just used to it being there. Okay.
Surprise, surprise. Turns out Mark Diller has been lying to the court about Aidan Carney's ability to appear for his deposition. And today, we are going to uncover the truth about what really happened between Mark Diller and Aidan Carney. Doesn't say anything new. You must follow the law. He was present, so I think he can answer whether or not it happened or not. Have you had any conversation with the prosecutor?
I could say the same thing, but taking Amber Heard as a client. Man, that didn't do anything. Oh, hardly.
Are you able to estimate of those 1,000 different types of cases dealing with accident reconstruction? You could not with a jury.
How do you reach a verdict? We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It is the Law with Attorney Larry Foreman. Folks, today we are going to talk about the latest hearing that happened just a couple of days ago on August 6th, 2026, where Aidan Carney was called out for his failure to appear at his alleged deposition in July and or August. Everything will become clear in this video. Now, you may remember this clip from 2 days ago where Mark Diller calls out in open court on Zoom to Judge Gilday in front of all the other lawyers that Aidan Carney failed to appear at his deposition that was scheduled. Roll the clip.
Aidan Carney, Your Honor, failed to attend his deposition, which was scheduled on the 30th. We're preparing a motion to compel for sanctions. He then went on his live stream that evening and said that.
I don't need to hear all the details.
Yes. So that apparently was a complete and utter deception upon the court. Now, is Diller going to suffer any consequences? That remains to be seen. In the meantime, let's go directly to our source, Aidan Carney. Have you been injured in an accident? Have you been hurt by a doctor? Have you suffered from a dog bite? Have you lost a loved one due to someone else's negligence? Call us, 1-844-774-HURT. Get a trial lawyer to get you the most money you will.
Chasing that ambulance.
Why is Diller lying to the court? Why did he intentionally not tell the court that I have repeatedly told him that I'm awaiting trial and thus will be invoking my Fifth Amendment privilege to any questions involving my coverage of the Reed case? Okay, time out. So I think what's happening here is that Aidan has indicated that because he has a pending criminal case against him for the witness intimidation, just like, I mean, remember when Karen Reed had her criminal case, the murder trial going on? Well, her depositions were held in abatement. Nobody really forced her to testify. Now, Judge Gilday doesn't care and Dilly is forcing Aidan to testify, knowing that he's going to invoke the Fifth to pretty much every question, much like Fauci recently pulled in Congress.
What day of the week is it today? On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege.
So basically, that's what Aidan is going to be doing at his deposition, and obviously a completely different setting and for completely different reasons. Fauci doesn't have a Fifth Amendment right because he's been pardoned by Biden for all of his criminal acts since 2014. Aidan doesn't get a pardon because he is still being prosecuted, and the case is going to go to trial in a few months. Aidan goes on. Why did he, Diller, leave out the fact that my lawyer contacted and told him this before I told him that several times? Why does he want to make me drive to Boston and waste everyone's time if he knows I'm invoking the Fifth? He wants to put it on the record. I mean, I get it, Aidan. You just roll with it. Just roll with it. This part you got to roll with. Why didn't he tell the court that I gave him a list of close to a dozen days I was free from family obligations to attend a deposition where I would be showing up and invoking the Fifth? None of that was mentioned. For those of you who are not familiar with the hearing that happened 2 days ago, go back in my videos where we analyze. It's a short video. It's like 40 minutes, relatively short, I suppose, where we dissect that hearing so you understand exactly what we're talking about here if you feel lost. Why didn't he mention that I offered to appear via Zoom on July 30th? Why didn't he mention that he told me there would be a deposition on August 6th and that I immediately emailed back and asked if he could do the 7th and that he ignored that email and an hour later he served me with a subpoena for the 17th? Why didn't he return the email I sent him after that asking him if he could do the deposition on the 7th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, all of which are before the 17th? Why is he representing to the court that I'm unresponsive and not actively working with him to find a date that works for both of us? Remember, he just launched into, I'm going to file a motion to compel because he hasn't shown up. Not like, well, I'm talking to him because there was nobody there to speak on his behalf. Dilly took that opportunity to mislead the court. That is so unprofessional. Most importantly, why is he so interested, Aidan goes on, talking about Diller, in speaking with someone who wasn't in Canton the night his client's family member was beaten to death inside Brian Albert's house? Why isn't he suing the people who the FBI and the Department of Justice believe are responsible for killing Officer John O'Keefe? Why isn't he suing the state or Canton police who conducted the shoddy, incomplete, and unprofessional investigation into Officer John O'Keefe's murder that directly resulted in an acquittal? What false hope or reassurances has he given to the O'Keefe family, who will once again be set up for disappointment after being lied to by the DA's office? plaintiffs. Is he charging them for all this nonsense, which has zero chance of success unless someone caves and their insurance carrier offers a settlement, which doesn't appear to be happening? I love how Aiden just basically has a bunch of questions strung together, and it's a very powerful statement when all of it is combined into one meaty, statement, if you will. Because even though he's really not saying anything, but he's saying everything, right? Like, for example, we have this screenshot. Aiden Carney to Mark Diller. Attorney Diller, as I've told you, this is dated July 30th. I am available at any time next week except for Monday. However, if you need me to appear today, I'm willing to appear via Zoom because I'm with my children. Please send the Zoom link or the Zoom code if you can. Thank you, Aiden Carney. That same day, Mr. Carney, we don't have a timestamp, but we have a date stamp. Please confirm that you agree to appear at 50 Congress Street, 7th floor, next Thursday, August 6th at 10 a.m. for your re-notice deposition. Very truly yours, Mark Diller. Aiden Carney on Friday. This is now July 31st. Can you do Friday, August 7th? I have the kids all day Thursday. I'm willing to attend. Just need to find a time that works for both of us. Just to remind you, I will not be answering any substantive questions and will be invoking my Fifth Amendment privilege. Now we have a date stamp on the previous email that was sent at 5:12 p.m. by Mark Diller on the previous day. Then Aiden followed up with this on Friday. Attorney Diller, I did not get a reply from you about August 7th. An hour after I sent the email asking if you could do that date, I was served with a subpoena for August 17th. That date does not work for me as I have family obligations. I'm more than happy to find an agreeable date, but we need to figure out a day that works for both of us. Here are my available dates: 7th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 18th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Please let me know which of those dates works best for you. I would like to work together to find a day in which we are both available. It's probably easier to call me and then the text cuts off. So you get the gist. Aiden has been called out by attorney Mark Diller for no other reason other than simply to poke the bear. I mean, I can't find any legitimate reason why Mark Diller had to actively lie, actively deceive the court, to deceive a tribunal about what's actually happening by basically playing poker with the judge, essentially.
So we don't have to go any further because you get the gist.
Yeah, they're trying to manipulate the law to mess with Turtleboy. They've been doing that this whole time.
Right, but it's weird because all of the other people involved in this have rescheduled their depositions.
Yeah, I know. I remember what's his face. The cop didn't show up for his deposition. He did half of it and then left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. This is ridiculous. They're out to get Turtleboy. I get it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that sucks. So then we have brother counsel.
I love the brothers counsel.
I love brother counsel too, except he has a hockey sweater that he calls a jersey behind him.
What team is it for?
It's I
We
think
don't even
his,
know.
no, it's his hockey team. He plays hockey.
Oh, okay.
The Reed case is unlike any other. The degree in which people are emotionally invested in this case is literally unprecedented. It has brought out the best in us, and it has brought out the worst in us. It has created unity, but also created division. It created a spotlight in which opportunists seek to utilize for their own personal reasons. And today brings us to another such person who we know as, or is referred to as LS. Now, this has to do.
I really want to decorate his office. What do you
There's
think?
not much there. It's pretty sparse.
It's too sterile. It needs some warmness in
He
it.
is a lawyer. I mean, he is a lawyer.
Yeah, but
I like the scales of justice on the table.
yeah, that's his only prop. The scales of justice.
That and his hockey sweater.
That's his brother counsel on the back.
With charges against none other than Turtleboy. Now, we're not talking about the witness intimidation charges that he is facing in Massachusetts, up to 90 years in prison. We're talking about charges that were brought in New Jersey regarding cyber harassment. And now we just received, was just posted.
So do you know the backstory about this?
A little bit.
The cyber harassment?
I know a little bit about it.
It was that lady that was trying to catfish Paul O'Keefe.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you had told me about this. She filed charges against him, which kind of screwed everything up because he was already on probation or on parole or whatever. And now that threw him back. Yeah, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah.
On social media, on X, a letter that was sent by none other than Mark Betterow. It's a letter formally for demand of discovery, but there is a lot of very interesting information and some background on this case that you should all know. So without any further ado, let's pull up the letter and let's get to it. Here we go. This is the letter, as you can see, sent from the law offices of Mark Betterow to Aaron Rush, Assistant Prosecutor, Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. Let's see what Mr. Betterow has to say about this indictment, State versus Aidan Carney. Dear Miss Rush, this letter serves as Aidan Carney's specific demand for exculpatory and discoverable evidence pursuant to Brady versus Maryland, Giglio versus United States, and New Jersey Court Rule 313-3. Now remember, for all you law nerds out there, and you can go do the research if you like, there is a significant difference between a general demand for discovery and a specific demand for discovery, especially when it relates to exculpatory Brady Giglio information. So here you have a very specific demand for certain Giglio and Brady information evidence. On July 22nd, 2026, an Atlantic County grand jury indicted Carney for one count of cyber harassment. The indictment alleges that on or about October 8th, 2025, Carney sent or made lewd, indecent, or obscene material about LS. That is who we know this person is. LS. That's all we know about this person. So the indictment alleges that Carney, Turtleboy, sent or made some lewd, indecent, or obscene material about LS with a purpose to emotionally harm a reasonable person. The indictment resulted from the Atlantic County's prosecutor's office more than 7-month investigation into LS's citizen complaint, which he filed on November 4th, 2025. So in New Jersey, there is a specific mechanism called a citizen's complaint, which a citizen can file. And then apparently there was a 7-month investigation into the citizen complaint, which ultimately resulted in this indictment for one count of cyber harassment. Well, I really wonder what was going on for that 7-month period. On July 30th, 2026, the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office, the ACPO, served the defense with all the discovery you have, in quotations, under Rule 313-3B1, upon supplying the defense.
What do you think was going on in this 7th month investigation? Do you think that the prosecutor in New Jersey was talking to the prosecutor in Massachusetts?
No idea. I mean, probably, but no idea.
Colluding.
They're probably all talking. I think probably everyone involved in the civil Karen Reed trial and the defamation trial or the witness intimidation trial, they're all talking to each other, I think.
Are you going to be able to sit through this letter?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's going to go on for probably like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
With discovery, the prosecution shall provide the defense with a listing of materials that are missing and explain why they have not been supplied. To date, we have received neither such a list nor an explanation on why we have received such little discovery from this lengthy investigation. Hey, 7 months. What do you have to show for 7 months? The discovery we have received consists of little more than a Linwood Police Department activity report printed out on July 28, 2026, a one-page handwritten statement made by LS in support of our citizen-initiated complaint on November 4th, 2025. And so you have this one page, which was a statement made by this LS person, and a few minutes of body-worn camera depicting LS at the police station on November 4th, 2025, probably complaining of the same things that's in that one-page document. Now let's take a look at the footnotes, because as you know, footnotes are always very important to read. And usually they're more entertaining than the actual body of the letter. Let's see. Or the motion or brief. LS first attempted to have Carney arrested on October 13, 2025. She went to the police seeking Carney's arrest. The police declined, but told her she could file a civilian complaint. So she tried to go to the police and say, hey, arrest Carney, arrest Turtleboy. I don't like it. Sending me all these lewd and indecent pictures or whatever. But the police said, nah, I don't think you have a case. But you can go file a civil complaint, which is basically, yeah, just put it in the suggestion box, which right underneath the suggestion box is usually a shredder. But anyway, that's what they said that she can do. And apparently, after 7 months, now you've got some sort of indictment. So for her, I guess it didn't go straight in the shredder. Undeterred, the next day, LS called the police again, seeking Carney's arrest. The ACPO declined to authorize Carney's arrest because Carney's online comments were not a violation of LS's temporary restraining order against him. So apparently, this person, LS, got already a temporary restraining order, and they said, sorry, he did not really violate his restraining order, your restraining order, so there's nothing for us to do, but you can go ahead and file this civil complaint, which LS did. All right, moving right on. Although the ACPO investigated LS's civilian complaint for more than 7 months, we have not received any documents memorializing the statements or information LS provided to ACPO Chief Assistant Prosecutor Erica Haleko, which led the 7-month investigation, presented them to the grand jury. So this prosecutor, Erica Haleko, led this 7th-month investigation and presented this to the grand jury, and apparently got this indictment. Sergeant Vicky Levy, the sole witness before the grand jury, or anyone else at the ACPO. So where is all this information? No documents memorializing any sort of statements or information that Ellis provided to Erica Haleki or Sergeant Vicky Levy, who apparently testified at the grand jury, or anyone else at ACPL. Now let's see footnote number 2. Sergeant Levy's testimony amounted to little more than one-word responses agreeing with Ms. Halekio's leading questions. So apparently the grand jury proceedings was the prosecutor, Haleko, asking leading questions with Sergeant Levy saying, I guess yes or no. The exclusive source of Sergeant Levy's knowledge was the discovery in the matter of State versus Aiden Carney. Ms. Haleko failed to describe the discovery, mark it as an exhibit, or introduce it into evidence. So she didn't mark it, she didn't describe it, and she didn't introduce it into the evidence. In other words, the grand jury and Carney were deliberately kept ignorant on the original source of the information that Sergeant Levy regurgitated to secure Carney's indictment. We cannot even label Sergeant Levy's testimony, in quotations, as hearsay because there is no way to determine whether she was recounting an out-of-court statement by Ellis or someone else, or whether her alleged knowledge stemmed from another source. We have no idea what they're talking about. The discovery relied upon by Sergeant Levy on July 22nd, 2026 cannot be identical to the discovery provided to the defense on July 30th, 2026. So apparently there's some sort of discovery where this Sergeant Levy was on the stand and her knowledge of anything that she was testifying to was because of discovery, this discovery. Now, what is this discovery? We'd love to know what this discovery that Sergeant Levy is talking about on the stand is. The problem is that the only discovery that we've received is this one-page statement from LS, which can't be the same discovery that you're talking about. The discovery relied upon by Sergeant Levy on July 22nd cannot be identical to the discovery provided to the defense for the simple reason that much of the hearsay evidence presented to the grand jury is not contained in the discovery that ACPO gave us. So it's not contained in this. It can't be the same. So what in the world were you talking about the discovery? And we haven't received it. The discovery that you used in the grand jury to get this indictment. Moving on. Leaving for another day the legal questions of whether Carney's words were lewd, indecent, or obscene, and or whether his speech was protected by the First Amendment, the substance of the case against Carney rests exclusively on LS's testimony. As such, her credibility is as important as any issue in the case. So again, this is resting exclusively. The entire case is resting exclusively on LS's testimony. So therefore, obviously, her credibility is very important in this case. It is therefore essential that the defense promptly receive any information and material in the ACPO's possession, custody, or control provided by LS, particularly evidence which tends to adversely impact her credibility. Now, let's move on before we continue with the body of the letter. Let's move on to footnote number 3 with respect to First Amendment protections. United States Supreme Court precedent repeatedly hold expressions remain protected even where the content hurts feelings, causes offense, or evokes resentment. Speech is often abusive, even vulgar, derisive, and provocative, and yet is still protected under the federal constitutional guarantees of free expression unless it is much more than that. Unless the speech presents a clear and present danger of some substantive evil, it may neither be forbidden nor penalized. Okay. Back to the body of the letter. As you are aware, over the past several months, we provided Ms. Haleko with numerous examples highlighting LS's lack of credibility. So remember, Haleko is the prosecutor in this case who brought this case, first of all, led the investigation and also brought this to the grand jury. In other words, we provided the ACPO with substantial evidence which required any credible and good faith investigation to include a thorough vetting of the serious issues undermining its key witnesses' credibility before determining whether criminal charges against Carney were warranted, and in furtherance of the state's duty to disclose exculpatory evidence in its possession, custody, or control in the event of an indictment. So basically, they're saying we provided already enough information to the prosecutor to start to question, at least, the very least, question your one witness who you are relying on to bring these charges. We already alerted you to the serious credibility issues that she may have, this LS person. Now let's take a look at footnote number 4.
Are you following this so far?
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like they have evidence and that's why they brought this prosecution, but they haven't shown the defense what this evidence is.
They don't have any evidence, and that's why. Their evidence is probably weak, and they don't want it to be challenged. They do this grand jury stuff. I keep hearing about how prosecutors keep using or misleading grand juries to get indictments, and then I don't know.
I have an issue with the whole grand jury concept, right? Because in order to get indicted, like, it has to go before a grand jury. Okay. The grand jury consists of the prosecutors, and that's it. There's no other side. There's and to your point, they can just make stuff up.
They do. There's been cases with the federal government where that's happened, where they've rushed a grand jury indictment, and then when someone comes back and looks at what was used to get that indictment, they're like, this isn't a real indictment. Like, this is not kosher.
What happened? Like, you watch an example is like you're watching one of those cold case shows, right? And there's the family of a victim and they know who did it, and the police have a good suspect, and they keep touching base with the family, and the family's frustrated, and it goes on and on and on because they don't have enough evidence yet. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore with this stuff, especially in Massachusetts and now New Jersey. They don't need evidence, apparently.
No, they go and they hold a grand jury trial, and they don't involve the defense at all, and they basically trump up evidence that is probably doesn't hold water when it's challenged, and they use that to tell a grand jury who is probably not aware of anything in the case because they're a jury. And the whole thing is misleading and crazy.
I also think that they're like kind of taking advantage of these like revenge porn style laws that they have, which I believe in. Okay. Let me be very clear. I believe that we need to have laws against people like doing that.
Yes, and I agree with you. That was one of the first things I said when I heard about this case, is that they're trying to twist what Turtleboy and this Turtleboy's relationship with this person into being he outed them or exposed their conversations, which is on the same level as somebody taking private videos of you and them doing, personal things and putting that out there for random people to see. It's not the same thing.
Right. So say you have naked pictures of me in your phone.
Right.
Which you don't.
No.
But say that you did, and we got a divorce.
Right.
And you started putting those on the internet, and you put them on like the dirty.com.
Right.
You should be prosecuted. And vice versa. If I did something like that,
I should be open to prosecution. Yes. Like, you should be allowed to pursue prosecution against me. There should be laws against that. I agree with that 100%. It sounds like they took this situation, which to my understanding is Turtleboy was given, I don't want to say evidence, but was given reports of things, and he chose, and they were like, I don't want you to release this necessarily, and he was like, well, you already told me, I'm gonna go put it out there. And that's somehow equal to putting private videos of you and somebody else doing things that would otherwise be inappropriate for public consumption. That's not the same thing.
Well, they're doing the same thing to him too in Massachusetts with the witness intimidation law, right? So those laws exist so that mobsters aren't like going up to witnesses. If you testify, I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
They're also using those laws as well to suit their needs, which is like completely insane. Turtleboy has learned as a journalist who's very gonzo and aggressive, and he has learned how to do this within the system that
he supposedly has. I mean,
no, he has. But what they're doing to combat that, because they don't like what he's doing, is to twist and bastardize these laws that we have into something else to suit their needs, which is ridiculous.
I agree, but that's where it comes down to, right? The interpretation of the law. They think that they can do this. It's up to a judge to say this isn't, or a jury to say that what you're what you're claiming is a violation of the law is not actually a violation of the law.
All right, I'm going to play this.
All right.
Several times we requested in writing that the ACPO inform the grand jury about red flags associated with LS's credibility. Issues related to the impairment of the integrity of the grand jury proceeding will be addressed at length in our forthcoming motion to dismiss the indictment. So a motion to dismiss is forthcoming on this case. And apparently, just like we had with the witness intimidation charges, where there was some serious problems with the grand jury proceedings in that case, nevertheless, that case is going forward, most likely. So apparently there's some also problems with the grand jury here, which we are going to be hearing about in the upcoming motion to dismiss. Moving right along. Oh, wait, this is footnote number 5. Okay, fine. Just as
I have a question. Do you see his little logo up there?
Yeah.
Can you make that, but make it transparent, and then I can email it to him?
Possibly. I would need the file, which I don't have. David would have to send it to me.
Now we could recreate that, yeah?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
what the directives are. Okay. Back to the body of the letter. In addition to the concerns we brought to the ACPO's attention before the matter was presented to a grand jury, in the past few days we have received electronic communications between us and multiple third parties, which, to be blunt, are astounding. So now what Bedro was saying is that they've received, apparently there are people that are communicating or were communicating with this LS person, and now those third parties, those other people, sent these communications to Mark Bedro and Turtleboy, letting them know about what this LS person is all about. And apparently, it's astounding what these communications are. And I bet you all want to see them, but we don't have them yet. Maybe they'll be attached to some sort of motion. We'll see. But right now, we're going to have to see what the letter talks about with these messages. These messages are so destructive to LS's credibility that even prior to Carney's arraignment, we urge the ACPO to reevaluate the wisdom of prosecuting a case whose entire foundation is built on a witness with such poor credibility. In sum, the communications we have been provided with by others reveal the ease with which LS lies and dissembles to advance her self-interest and gain admiration from strangers on the internet. First, LS lied in furtherance of her deranged scheme to gain online clout by humiliating Paul O'Keefe, the brother of the victim in the high-profile Karen Reed case, a Massachusetts murder case in which Ellis appears to have an unhealthy obsession. Just add her to the list. Okay, so there was some sort of scheme with Paul O'Keefe. I know that Turtleboy was talking one time about how Paul O'Keefe and some other, maybe this is the person he's talking about, I don't know, about trying to get into some sort of relationship with Paul O'Keefe, and then those pictures that were getting sent around. But maybe that's what her agenda was. I'm not sure. So, next, LS sought to capitalize on her online fame by lying to garner sympathy and to impress strangers on the internet with whom she shared nothing in common other than an interest in the Reed case. Finally, Ellis lied as part of her effort to have Carney jailed in Massachusetts because she was upset that he didn't give her enough credit for her humiliation of Paul O'Keefe. So apparently she was really center with this whole Paul O'Keefe humiliation situation. Maybe it had to do with that picture that we were all familiar with at this point. And apparently she felt that she's not getting enough credit. She's not getting enough credit. And unfortunately, it seems that this seems to be a pattern with the Karen Reed case, that everybody feels that they have to get a certain amount of credit when it has to do with, I don't know, Karen Reed's innocence, Karen Reed's defense, Karen Reed's, I don't know. Everyone's trying to elbow their ways in for getting the appropriate credit. So add her to the list, that she feels that she needs some more credit for her role in her really taking down her humiliation of Paul O'Keefe. It should not be lost on you that this evidence exposes LS's lack of clean hands, which is devastating to the cyber harassment case because her conduct severely undermines your ability to credibly suggest that a reasonable person in her circumstances would have suffered emotional harm because Carney said unpleasant things about her. Okay. Evidence of LS's false statements, deception, and willingness to frame Carney. So here we go. So we're going to have some sort of evidence here that's going to be referred to in Bedro's letter. We're not going to probably see the receipts on this, but we're just going to have to either take Bedro's word for it. I mean, as an officer of the court, that this is actually what some of these messages show. Given that the ACPO investigated this matter for 7 months before seeking Carney's indictment and presumably vetted her credibility before seeking an indictment, we expect that you are in possession, custody, and control of much more exculpatory and discoverable information than of which the defense is presently aware. So again, this is a large assumption because apparently these third parties came out and offered this information to Turtleboy, I guess, and Mark Bedro. But they're saying, look, if these people are just voluntarily coming to us with this information, then you, who have been doing a 7-month investigation into this case, no doubt have at least as much, if not more, or likely more information and maybe other text messages, which also show that she has no credibility. And yet, you didn't turn any of that over to us. In any event, we bring some examples to your attention so you may comply with your obligation to present any favorable and discoverable evidence regarding LS in your possession, custody, or control. LS repeatedly has lied about her ownership of numerous X accounts. So apparently she has a lot of burner accounts, which seems to be part of the course with the Karen Reed case. But anyway, including Elwood's, Sap Awe, and Katniss Everdeen. We now possess evidence which provides ample proof that LS used these accounts to anonymously advance her agenda, leak information about legal proceedings, garner sympathy for herself, disseminate false information, and publicly smear Carney and his lawyers. She did this at the same time she was cooperating with the ACPO and supposedly was being emotionally harmed by Carney. But Ellis's own communications with third parties obliterate her ridiculous claims that these accounts did not belong to her. Let's see what the footnotes have to say about this. So listen to this. On December 18th, 2025, this is footnote 6, approximately 1 month after she told the Linwood police that Carney was making her life a living hell, LS voluntarily sought the dismissal of a civil proceeding and a vacatur of a protection order against Carney. Prior to dismissal, LS testified that she felt she would be safe without an order in place and that she was not concerned for her safety. Okay. It is noteworthy that she abandoned this case immediately before she was scheduled to be cross-examined. The day before, LS told a third party that this is all strategy. So the day before, LS told a third party that this is all strategy to avoid harming her criminal case by testifying in the civil matter, to avoid putting more on the record. She bragged about her legal prowess, boasting that they never even got to cross me, and they don't call me L. Woods for nothing. In other words, the cyber-harassed and scared LS voluntarily gave up a protective order against Carney as...
This lady's so gross.
This whole thing's gross. She's just a grifter. I mean, an opportunist, if not a grifter.
I think I might stop this here.
Okay.
Not read the whole thing. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you get the gist of it.
Yeah, and she's a liar.
Yeah. I mean, that's the gist of it. This lady is a liar.
She went out of her way to try to catfish Paul O'Keefe.
So that she could insert herself and have some sort of relevance in this, like, national, yeah.
Somehow get some provocative evidence that probably would never be allowed in court because of the way that she got it. And instead, she was revealed to be an opportunist or a grifter by Turtleboy, and she got mad about it, and now she's trying to sue him. It's crazy. It's crazy that anyone would take this case.
She played this whole game with Turtleboy too, where she was like, oh, here's all the evidence. He's like, okay, I'm going to write a story now. She's like, no, don't. I can get more. And he's like, no, I think we have enough. I have enough to write my story. And she's like, no, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet.
And then he did it anyway. And that's what she's claiming is on the same level as Revenge Corn, which is crazy.
Well, I think it's when he like published her name or whatever, Lindsay Clancy.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah,
whatever.
You play with fire.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And honestly, like what she was doing to a guy who, he doesn't have like the best reputation for being a good person, and he hates Turtleboy, and that's fine. But he's a grieving brother. He lost his brother.
Yeah.
And you're gonna catfish that guy?
That's crazy.
Maybe don't do that.
Poor taste all around.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have this evening. Do you have any like closing remarks or anything you want to bring up about any of the topics we covered?
It's crazy to me the way our legal system has become this sort of like banana republic. Like, I don't know what to even call it. It's crazy to me what people get away with, and the way that prosecutors are like trying to capitalize on everything to like make themselves look good. It's not about justice. It's very frustrating. I don't want to get involved in any legal proceedings. I'm never gonna. This is my indication that I have to live a very law-abiding life, because if I end up in court, who knows what they'll do?
I know. You're always like, don't say that. You'll get us in trouble.
Yeah.
You know?
Because of this kind of stuff. Like this lady is a prime example of that. Or Jen McCabe or whoever it was that, you know, is suing Turtleboy because he called them out on the truth. Like it's crazy.
Maybe I can figure out a way to do it anonymously. Anyway, that's all I have. Have a great night. I'll see you at a later time.
Sounds great.